frontline workers, mid level employees, including managers and subject matter experts, and C level executives, are motivated by different things. The best leader are winning the competition of talent to win the talent war. Be clear about the level you're recruiting for. Know your audience and customize your approach to attract talent and retaining talent for the longer term. Join us for this webinar to gain some insight into the specifics of the issue. HRAI has hosted this very insightful session with the industry experts who will be enlightening us on how to win this talent war 2022. HREI welcomes you all to the session on connecting the dots, winning the talent war 2022. To know more about HREI and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. It would be great to have all participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed panel members for our today's webinar. Ms. Ratna Joshi, GM, Customer Excellence Academy, Tata Motors. Ratna currently heads the Customer Excellence Academy for Tata Motors Limited and its subsidiaries. She carries an overall experience of 17 plus years, leading both the COEs and business HR partnership agendas. Prior to joining Tata Motors, she was heading the talent management function for Cipla Limited. And before that, she was heading the L&T COE for M&M. Prior to M&M, she has worked with Reliance Group and Shoppers Stop. Ratna is a gold medalist in HR from Nirma University and enjoys facilitating coaching writing in HR and leadership platforms. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Our next panel member, Mr. Ranjit Khompi, AVP HR, Fashion and Lifestyle, Reliance Retail Limited. Ranjit Khompi is an award-winning business professional with 24 years of experience across marketing, consulting, and HR. He has held leadership roles in product management, international trade, human capital consulting, global talent management, and P&L roles for international geographies across diverse sectors of office automation, automobiles, IT, outsourcing, insurance, telecom, and retail. In his current role, he leads talent readiness for more than 31,000 employees for fashion and lifestyle businesses of India's largest retailer by driving business outcome and focused HR interventions. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Our next panel member, Ms. Rajika Kishore Mathur, Founder Director, jobsadm.com. Ms. Rajika, under her tagline, Life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself, is a founder and director of the job portal www.jobsadm.com and founder of Building Talent, an initiative to train the right candidate for the right job and right company. Building Talent to train the right candidate for the right job and right company, a career mentor for job seekers. To add to her credentials, she is the Associate Director of Corporate Galaxy Human Capital, an executive search firm. Also, the founder of a community of 7,000 plus women professionals called Being Woman Rocks, helping them and guiding them in leveraging their small businesses. She was invited as a speaker at Women Economic Forum. Today only we received this wonderful news that she has been appointed as a state president, Maharashtra HR Council of Women's India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, WICCI. She believes in the tagline, people make the difference. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Now I'll introduce our panel cum moderator for today's session, Lieutenant Commander Nitika Rai, Senior Technology Consultant, Ernst Young. Lieutenant Commander Nitika Rai is an experienced naval officer who served the Indian Navy for 11 years. During her illustrious career, she has handled various roles encompassing logistics and SCM, HR management, accounting and procurement, and project management. She has been instrumental in upkeep of various departmental functions, and she had been a trusted advisor to HSOD for delivering operational excellence. She did her master's in business administration in HR and marketing and PG diploma in international logistics and SCM, and specialized in global SCM from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. She has been devoted to her professional career and she is now working with EY as a senior technology consultant since July 21. She loves reading, writing, running, and delivering motivational talks. You can also follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. And with this, we are done with the introductions. I will now hand over the platform to Ms. Nitika to take this discussion forward.
Well, thank you, Faisal. And, I'm very much honored and privileged to have such a, specialized speakers in front of me. And today, I'm moderating it for the first time, that too on the topic, winning the talent war, for which we have all 3 hours. I was saying we have Ranjit, Rajika, and Ratna. So good to have all of you. And thank you, Faisal and HRAI, to giving me the platform. And so we'll start with the session. I'll start with Ratna first. So Ratna, I just wanted to know that what will be the pre and post COVID effects on the recruitment as far as the retaining the talent is concerned. So over to you, Ratna.
Yeah, thanks, Nitika. Yes, so in terms of pre and post COVID, I think a lot has changed, and maybe we have been forced into this change because see, when physical meetings stopped happening, right? Even the physical interviews stopped happening completely. So gone are those days where for every interview we had to travel, within city or across city. Now, even if you look at Tata Motors, most of our interviews, different steps and stages are happening using one of those media like a Zoom or a Teams. Most of them. Only for some select senior level roles would you want to meet the candidate at towards the end, right? So that's a huge shift that you have so much of comfort now, and you're using it very, very actively. It saves everyone's time. Even if there's a last minute cancellation from both the sides, you don't have to really disturb your entire day. You can just, do it more effectively today. So that's something at a very operational level. But that's a shift, right? Second thing, I think we are soliciting profiles a lot more through social media now, because somehow it has happened that presence and activity and interactions have increased on social media, professional platforms like LinkedIn. So while Naukri of the world and other stuff also coexist, but I guess a lot more. The jobs are being advertised on these platforms. Hiring managers are actively playing a role in terms of soliciting candidates, talking about their roles, which wasn't happening earlier. So yes, I think the digital presence has increased. Interviews and discussions are happening online and they're happening effectively. Other media continue to exist. So it has also helped us build the database online. So, even before the interview happened, I think the database and the entire pre-activity has also shifted to a digital platform. Even the consultants they are more digitally engaged. You would have seen a lot of work happening, which they're doing digitally. Even they are building a database online, leveraging digital platform like LinkedIn to even host interviews and video calls. We are also talking of video resumes nowadays. So I think, yes, that's a flavor of pre and post. And I'm sure there might be more flavors also, which maybe we can get diverged as we go ahead in the session. So that's just the beginning.
Well, thank you, Ratna. And, pre and post-COVID, in fact, post-COVID has bring in a lot of advantages as far as, connecting with people is concerned. You mentioned over LinkedIn. So when I was retiring, I got to connect to corporates through LinkedIn only, because everything was, completely shut. We can't go outside. I can go to office. That's it. And it was so very difficult, but then you connect easily. to the people around. Then too, you go to the office, find time. Here, and people are all available, especially on Saturdays and Sundays. So, you are working all 7 days. So thank you, Ratna, for your insights. I'll just now switch on to Ranjit. So Ranjit, my question is, what is the future of recruiting and how it is interconnected with the Great Resignation? So,
future of recruitment, you can see it on the job boards. Right, the amount of jobs that are available for recruitment experts is much more than everyone put together. So I think that's a self-indicator for itself in terms of what it is. So see, as the jobs are getting more specialized and the jobs are varying, in fact, jobs are exploding. If you just look at number of unicorns that we have, number of new companies that are formed, and in fact, we are becoming almost the second unicorn capital of the world, second number. And the kind of work that is coming in across, the job of recruitment is going to be much more intense and much more important in the future. And in fact, what will happen, it will evolve further with technology powering in, either in terms of bot, in terms of AR or VR or video that Ratna just talked about. So I think one thing is its importance is going to grow because we need more talent, and in the war of talent, we need to snatch talent from each other. That's there. It's not going to go away. But I think more importantly, what is going to happen is because the work models are evolving, recruitment is going to be much more broad based. They're going to cast the net much more wider. Like for example, when we are recruiting, we are not locally looking at as Bangalore or a Bombay or a Hyderabad, right? We are also going to somewhere like Indore, and we are okay with permanent remote. Okay, and we are able to pick up someone from there at much lesser cost, much faster, and the person's stickiness would be much better. Okay, so I think that's something is happening. Or if you're picking up someone from Norway, I know that person doesn't have to shift here, and I can still pick up from there. So what is future is basically also the net getting casted wider, and with the work models evolving, we are coming with very innovative model, and that will actually help us. And now how it is enabled, I think Nitika, you and Ratna both talked about is social media. In fact, one of my recruitment head friends just talked about it. She posted an ad on LinkedIn, and she got so many responses within 2 days on LinkedIn that they had to take off the ad in about 2 days. Okay, so that's the kind of power. They don't have to go to Naukri. They don't have to search for many people. They don't have to go to anywhere else. And because people are now can actively tag themselves open to working or open to hiring, right? I think that social media creates that kind of interaction, and that social recruitment will go up further. People are, in fact, Twitter is a new one which actually has come into the network where it actually allows people to recruit fast. And this will also make sure that speed of hire will not be, if you ask me from a future perspective, KPIs for recruitment also will change into the future. Today we are asking, okay, what's your speed of hire? How fast can you get someone as a backfill for me or get into new one? I think it's just an input indicator. What business is also looking at for us is basically an outcome indicator. So like, for example, what's the quality of hire that you're bringing in? And that's future, because you are also responsible not only getting the person in time, getting the person as per JD, but when you talk about quality, can the person really get that output? Is your recruitment process good enough predictor of the future performance? And that's something that we'll have to go back and look at our processes. Or we'll also be asked, what is the effectiveness of your different sourcing channels that you're using? And that's where people want to know that what is the mix that you bring in? Are you only going to one particular area, or you are diversifying yourself so that you can get talent across multiple areas? And this in the future necessitates a change in the skills that our recruitment team needs to have. They need to go back and not only look at active, because active would be having multiple open offers, but our ability to engage more with passive candidates. And I think that's something that we would expect the recruitment team to do more, or maybe do more talent data analytics so that they can drive decisions. They can advise the business leaders in what needs to be done. See, more about how you can partner with business leaders and hiring managers right from workforce planning stage. I think when that comes in, okay, the recruitment team, rather than doing a reactive job of finding talent, can really, I would say, advise and influence decision making about what kind of talent we need, what kind of work model will we need, and how we can get it done faster, which is much more stable than business saying, okay, I need these people from there, and then recruitment team going hunting. So recruitment team also has to upskill, and that's the future where they go more upstream and downstream both. I think that's what will be required. And for that, I think they'll require more roles getting developed. And I think that's the future where more roles of talent analytics. Another thing is basically recruitment marketing. See, we are marketing employee value proposition to make sure that talent feels attracted towards the company. So recruitment marketing is something that role that is coming in, or recruitment tech is another role that is coming in. Now, all these, that's future. Now, it's always said future is always already here, but it's not evenly spread. Okay, so some of the companies I know are already using these things. And this ties in perfectly for a great resignation. It's a perfect confluence from a post-pandemic to recruitment overdrive to great resignation. See, we are getting into a candidate-centric market. I know tech companies where they are really fighting for a talent who's sitting with 3 or 4 offers at a time. Even if you give a 60, 70, 100% hike, you don't have a guarantee that people will turn up. Right. So how do you reevaluate in the great resignation period? Because people want to find a purpose. So you can't really, can recruitment get into an advisory role saying that, hey, let's not really talk about people being in office. You would have all heard about what happened to Whitehead Junior a couple of days back. They got 1,600 people resigning over last about 2 months or so. Now that's what is going to happen. And then recruitment is going to run back. So I think recruitment, when you look at resignation, is basically, can we communicate the purpose to both customers, that's our employees outside, and also business together, and then use it to really get in together. So can we adopt the future of work today right now, to make sure that we challenge and get over the great resignation? I think this is a combination of all these things. The recruitment head will have to really strategize how he or she is looking at all these things together to really make sure that they are winning the talent war.
Yeah, Ranjit, got you. If the recruitment entire model is, synergized in such a way wherein we'll all have less of pink slips, all right, and more of retaining the talent. So over to you, Rajika. So I just wanted to know that if, the question says if salary and remuneration alone is no longer enough to both retain and recruit the talent, what the organizations need to do to win the talent war for 2022. So Rajika, yeah.
Yes, Ratna. First of all, I would like to thank HIL, and I would like to correct you over here where you said 3 hours. I would say we are 4 hours over here. Miss Rai is also there.
pleasure, Rajika.
Yeah. So as Ranjit also said, the companies need to, when it comes to remunerations and all, the companies need to, first of all, Ranjit said that, the companies need to define the purpose, because what the candidate, of course, they are not looking at basically priorities about remunerations. They are looking towards more of a holistic approach of the company. So that is where now the companies, of course, Ranjit also said, the companies need to look at it a more marketing sort of a thing, whatever company, they need to market themselves. And more of the remunerations, they are looking at a bigger package, a 360-degree view of the benefits, like they're looking for, the culture, but of course, which was definitely there before, but now as, the big economy is also coming up, so that's why where the candidates are looking for more, opting for more of, the culture, what, the growth, the career growth path, which they get when they join these companies, other than just remunerations. Where companies also need to look into the employee engagement also, that's very critical. And the companies don't need to use, the physical distance as an excuse. They need to really engage, So they need to come out with more creative ideas to engage, not just when it comes to remunerations. So that's what I said, the companies just don't, the candidate is not just looking at the remunerations. And you can see one important thing, of course, which they're coming with. As I said, the companies are, need to market themselves. They need to talk about the culture, and their employees are the best marketing. They are the best marketing thing which the companies can see. If you see that when you go to Naukri, there is this feedback thing which is also there. And that's what the company needs to check, that their employees are the best marketing tool. So they are giving feedback on in every company. So you're getting it before they apply. They can see what the companies are about and what the employees are giving the feedback about, and also that's important. That's what the employees are definitely they're looking for, candidates are looking for.
Well, thank you, Rajika. And first of all, congratulations. I just got to know from Faisal that you have been selected as a president.
Okay, no, that's actually that's last year. So I was there, so he gave the introduction, which is there last year. So I've
All
been
right.
there on this position for last 2 years with Dr. Ankita.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, well, yes, so Rajika answered it very well, especially the employee engagement, which is again very, very difficult nowadays. And employee now tend to not to go, they don't, they come to the organization not for the salary, not for the remuneration, but just to see, like if I'm coming from Forge to the corporate, I want to see my team, so that I can work along with my team and see the upskilling going, especially in EY. And I'm sure there are other counterparts of me who are also seeing not the remuneration, not the salary, but the culture of the organization, which is again very important. And I'll come to you, Ratna, on a question which says that how can enterprises and organization adapt to the new reality? So, Ratna, over to you.
Yeah, very, very interesting piece actually. And I mean, there can be so many different ways of looking at a thing like this. I think different solutions for different organizations, but I guess the starting point is understanding your employees and connecting with them well. I think, and these are like, not quick fixes. For sure, they're not quick fixes, nothing which you can do overnight. That's the actually interesting and the challenge in it. You have to really have that kind of culture that is again a big piece. But yeah, to create that kind of culture where, people really feel nowadays empowered. I mean, all of us want to feel that it's a win-win actually for the organization and employees and everyone, all of us. If it's a win-win kind of environment, we get opportunity to contribute. Organization gives us opportunity and throws challenges on us, right? So, I mean, it's so commonsensical, but yeah, wherever, there's always a gap for which we constantly really have that challenge over there. But the idea is how can we really partner well with each one of our employee, hierarchy agnostic, because now no more, there's a hierarchy which exists in an organization. Everyone wants to be appreciated. Everyone wants that their voices are heard. In a group, when we are calling, it's no more about top to down that a boss will set in the tone and the boss will take that decision. So I guess these are not quick fixes. The way you interact, the way you decide, the way people see the culture play out on a day-to-day basis, right? How much of flexibility nowadays I have to execute my personal and professional agenda, my own passion. That is also important. I'm not a split personality, a Ratna here at office and a Ratna there at home. So the more closer we are able to integrate and bring in that piece together, that, I'm able to pursue my passion. So for example, I'm contributing on this forum today, I'm learning with all of you. Had there been a diktat that, you need to learn in this way and you may not contribute, you may not go out, etc., doesn't work well, right? So we are getting an option to really play our day accordingly. We are also getting an option to create our own goal sheets today, right? It's no more the case that, there'll be some set standards. Of course, in the realm of organization and the balance scorecard and everything will exist. But we are seeing more and more flexibility, I guess. That's what I think even COVID has taught us, that things and avenues we thought we can never really can become reality. For example, of work from home from an automotive organization. I think it was difficult. There were always debates whether we can work 5 days and 4 days. Can we work from home? How much of loss and productivity loss it will lead to, etc., etc. But I guess post-COVID, I guess after people have seen that's possible, so flexibility, empowerment, really shaping a culture in a way in which you're able to address some of those subconscious requirements of employees, right? And these are subconscious. Psychological safety is a subconscious requirement. I don't want to be in an environment where I'm threatened, where I'm, watched every minute. So I guess you have to give a lot of these messages through your action. And in all of this, I guess more than policies, I guess people managers have a very important role. So I guess, I've seen that in my experience. I guess at the end, people managers translate a lot of this to your team, right? And it's not only org culture, it's about the team climate. So these are like oases of excellence, of culture, productivity. So I guess if all the people managers are able to really connect well with their teams and drive the agenda, then collectively we'll have an organization where we won't see this challenges of retention. I mean, you talk across generations now, actually, from youngsters, from millennials to anyone. I guess there's some common themes and which we need to understand. And definitely it is beyond remuneration, and definitely it is beyond ESOPs. It's about the pride, it's about the brand, it's about the culture, it's about your purpose alignment. And I think one more important thing is we should not oversell or undersell our organization role or anything right from the stage where we are, I guess, recruiting. I think the seeds are sown from that very moment. If you are able to hire right, I mean, you do justice to the candidate as well as to yourself. So I guess it starts from there. The correct fitment will lead to, I guess, retention. And all the pieces are important. I think in action, we need to really showcase that through people managers.
Yeah, thank you, Ratna. Very beautifully, connected. It's like, catch them young, train them young. All right. The moment you catch them, just train them. Or I just learned about shared leadership, wherein, you involve everybody. It's not top down. It's a flat hierarchy which follows, and no hierarchy, in fact, completely flat organization. So thank you, Ratna, for answering. Ranjit, over to you. So what do you think are the different strategies to win the talent game, war game of 2022? Yeah. Ranjit, if you could unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, it's always said, more you sweat in peace, less you sweat, led to shed blood in the war. So it's always like that. I think for organizations, it's not about when you require the talent is where you start actually the entire process. I would suggest that it either steps back. In fact, my wife Ratna talked about fitment. I think I'll go one step backwards. I'm just saying that when you are creating your business strategies, when you're changing your business models, when you're changing your market goals, right? What kind of people you require, it starts at that. Like, for example, I was looking at the launch of Avinya. Okay, and I also heard about the different platforms that you're moving from an IC to combined to a skateboard, right? Now, the way your business models have changed, right? Sorry, the product models have changed, the business models are changing, and our talent models need to start changing from that space. And I think that's where the entire thinking for HR as a team has to come in. Basically, am I in tune with the way business is shifting? Am I in tune with the way the markets are shifting? And am I in tune with the way my goals are going to change? Okay, for example, last year, if I talk about my organization, Reliance Retail, last year my goal was completely into aggressive expansion. Okay, and we opened about 500 stores. Okay, and then we also picked up Future Group Retail, and we picked up the 500 for another 400 stores. That's another. So we are expanding fast. But this year, my goal is suddenly changing into productivity. Now, how do I make sure that talent war is not only about attracting talent. Talent war is not only about retaining talent. Talent war also is about whatever talent that you have. How do you make sure that they are productive enough, engaged enough, have the belongingness to come back to office every day, and they stick together. So I think it all starts with that thinking, and then making sure that, a lot of times the mistake that I've seen is, and I've gone across to multiple industries where people have one employee value proposition, and that's the same thing which is copy pasted to everyone across. But see, all of us know Maslow's hierarchy, right? Right. And if you look at it within the group, and I think Ratna talked about climate, okay, culture, climate. Similarly, you'll have microcosms of needs within the organization. So we as an HR, can I communicate that employee value proposition differently at different levels, okay, to different groups, so that they have a reason, they can see the purpose from their lens rather than what I am telling that is a broad lens. I think that actually creates a lot of time stickiness for people, because see, it's not about what I get at the end of the month or ESOPs, it's what I get every day. It could be upskilling, it could be flexibility, it could be diversity, it could be progression possibilities, or it could be if you are offering talent marketplace insight for me, right? So I don't need to go outside and search for a job or opportunity. Or do you offer me enough opportunities to innovate or and possibly fail? See, because see, more than 95% of the products fail in the innovation stage, right? Now, do you offer me that kind of a cushion, or do you actually hold me with a rigid performance management system? So if we can look at all these things, we will be able to hold on to the talent that we have, and we don't need to really worry of getting people all the time. Otherwise, it's an endless bucket, right? So can I just make sure that I keep out the talent with me? At the same time, whatever I'm attracting, I'm communicate enough well, giving the purpose, and then making sure. So it's a continuous process. It's applicable for the product life cycle. It's applicable for organizational life cycle as well as employee life cycle.
Oh, well, thank you, Ranjit. So, it also, what I'll add on this, that, it depends on the employee as well. You are into the organization cannot look up to 100,000, 10,000 employees. All right. You need to upskill yourself each day. You need to motivate yourself. We say that we cannot get the work to home.
Yeah.
But you need to get the work to home to be a part of the organization. That kind of ownership one should have. All right. Coming back to you, Rajika. So my question is, how does DEI play a role in winning the talent war? Yeah. Rajika, kindly unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes. So if you see, basically, when it comes to DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, now the new approach which is coming, and of course, which is very vital, and of course, which is very beneficial for the organizations as well as for the employees, that you need, the HR leaders need to get into the behavior, they're all in approach, and you need to really listen to the employees, and you have to understand and venture, you have to get on with assessing current policies which are there, procedures after this COVID thing which has come. And you need to look into the mentoring program, and you need to look at a bigger proposition where there is an inclusion of all employees, not just some, or not, you can say, the creme de la creme, or probably. So there has to be an inclusion of all the employees. Now, I'll just put a quote over here by Peter Drucker, where it says, the culture eats the strategy for breakfast. And where I could not agree more, where it says that if whatever incentives you put in front of employees, whatever incentives you have, but if the culture is not proper, you will definitely lose the talent battle. So that's for sure. And we see that DI inclusion, where we see that nowadays companies are they are successfully recruiting the retires, and of course, as you have said, even like people like yourself also, and they are even getting back their former employees, the boomerang. So that is one of the, because there's a lot of flexible work criteria which is coming up because of this COVID thing. So this is what the companies are employing, and they have got to listen to, as I said, they got to listen to, they got to, just, it should not be a one way. So they have to listen to the employees where what exactly, now after this COVID thing, the employees are more worried about their the flexibility for the families, the health care, safety, and all these things are there. And when it comes to the senior level, they are more looking towards, they should have more flexibility when it comes to, experimenting, putting their ideas forward. So these kind of things, which of course will be required, to include, and which needs to be inculcated in the company when we are talking about the DIE role in winning the talent war.
Yeah, Rajika. So, it's like going to the lowermost level, talking to them, understanding them, and, talking about their families, and counseling them at all times. And at the same time, patting on their back that the job they're doing well. And that's how you'll get more of boomerangs again. So coming to Ratna, how can digital recruitment help bridge physical distance and expand talent pool beyond geographical boundaries? So How is digital?
Yeah. So I think one part of the answer is in the question itself, that
Yes.
in the digital we are able to go. I mean, definitely increase our net, like even Ranjit was sharing. We are no more bound by I think geography. Definitely not. And with the new work models which are evolving, I guess it's giving all the more flexibility. Like we can operate 2 days, 3 days, and we can operate out of it. We can pursue our passions as well together. Talking about digital and talking about these connect, I guess, I mean, organizations are taking a lot of measures around that. So, for example, even for me, most of my interview and other discussions would have happened virtually. Yeah, but yeah, that was a need of the hour that I do connect virtually. But I guess the very first opportunity which the organization will get to connect with you, and it's not only limited to the joining day souvenirs and all, nothing like that. But yes, the way managers will want to involve you early on. I think that's a clear message, right? So even before you join, someone from the team or seniors, they keep a connect with you on a regular basis, and people who will really matter in your professional journey in the organization, not only from an HR perspective or or a recruiter only. So I guess a manager himself or herself is giving that kind of time and effort to involve you early on, to give you inputs on how you can prepare yourself for the new role, how you can really, uh, not be productive, but yeah, be really occupied and feel comfortable from day one. So I think direct connects with managers, Cape, and the right stakeholders do make a lot of difference, which can help you create that kind of connect with the organization. And nothing against the joining kids, but I guess it's more of personal connect and the real stuff which really excites and binds you and makes you more productive and effective. And you already start visualizing how your typical day and typical agenda would be, right? And I think these days people are also calling you early on for goal setting, creation of business scorecard and whatnot once you're onboarded. So which was not heard of earlier. So I've had instances where friends have come and confided, yeah, they were called for some strategy discussions also even before they could join the organization. It's happening. So those are the kind and the level of connect which we are talking about in the digital, which is one good thing which is happening now. I mean, we have always heard of things like buddies and mentors, and they continue, they coexist. But yeah, these are some of the forms in which organizations are keeping the connect on. And there, of course, there's some e-learning modules, training modules, familiarization with policy, workstation rounds, which you can really can be sort of set up for you to give you liberty of setting your own cabin or a cubicle in a particular manner if you want to do that, and if you're really excited about that. So those are the level of personalizations organization are going to in today's time, and these are like all real.
Oh, good to know that, Ratna. And I'm happy if I'll go to office and, set up my cubicle. It's still, work from home for EY. And Ranjit, I'll come to you that what recruitment strategies today are not relevant in today's, time.
Yeah, I think everything that we said we should be doing, if they're not doing, I think that's something. And for people, well, if I see, there is still a bunch of people who believe that things will go back to normal. And you will hear people talking about, and even the great business leaders, okay, saying that we'll get everyone back to office and things are going to be normal again. And I asked them, okay, guys, wake up, pick up some tablet for yourself, because understand the reality is things have changed, and things have changed for everyone, and let's become aware of that. Otherwise we'll be living in the fool's paradise, right? So like for example, if you still go back to say that, okay, no, I'll have in-person first level interviews, or I'll expect the person to carry a CV to the office, or printed CV to person, right? Or I'll say that, you know what, we don't have a rehire policy, right? And I still have companies which say that, no, we don't have a rehire policy. We don't rehire people. Or if you want to come back, you'll have to come back with almost a whole salary, or maybe small hike. You can't just go out and come back like that. So if people are going to look at that, or maybe I know companies which will still treat don't use social media as much as they use kind of a Naukri.com. Now that's one channel of communication, but they people see there are always if you read about tipping point, right? So there will be always people will be early adapters, okay, there'll be followers, there'll be fence sitters, and there'll be naysayers, right? So those are the naysayers who believe that world has not changed. Okay, they are the people who will continue to do the same thing. Those are kind of practices that you'll say that okay, early it was like that, I'll continue to do like that, and then they'll get pushback from the talent, right? And that's, I think I would say that I'm not saying change everything, but I'll say look at what happens to your target segment. What is your target talent segment wanting? How they want to be treated? And then whatever tweaking needs to be done in your talent strategy or recruitment strategies, I would suggest do that. I'm not saying change inside out. I'll say change what is necessary for your talent. And I think that should be good enough for you to win your talent war.
Yeah, we need to change the stereotyping mindset of the people, and and to adapt to the new normal. We need to connect the dots. So coming to you, Rajika, I want to ask that what part does gig economy plays in this talent to win the...
See, as you said just now, that's a new novel. So now this gig economy is the new novel, of course, which people are adapting, and they're loving it. So as Ranjit also said, there are some leaders who say we're gonna have the old ways back. So I don't think so. That's gonna happen. Not at least in current future, because people are loving it. Actually, they are loving this gig economy way. And nowadays, if you see the young generation, what they are also liking it, and they definitely, because there's so much of talent actually nowadays in the market, and this young generation, they are liking it the way they just want, and there is so much of rush sort of a thing, and they are learning so much because of this online thing. They're learning so much. So they have so much of talent inside them, and they don't want to stick to one job as such. They don't want to stick to one company. They want to do so much more. They want to learn so much more. They want to move forward, and they want to move a little more faster also. They're not like the old traditional way, step by step, you go on and move on. They want, as a matter of fact, they just want to win the world, in all the senses. So I think this gig economy is really going to come in handy. Of course, it took time to get introduced into India a little. It got introduced a little late in India because it was already there in the US and the European countries. It was already there. So it did take time to get to come to India, because we are more traditional sort of people, and our leaders, of course, are more traditional, and they want, as a matter of fact, we were just discussing. You see that the other countries, your US and all that. You see the leaders and all, they're enjoying. They're going for some beach holidays and all these things. But if you see our leaders in India, they are coming to office on time. They want, the proper 9 to 5 sort of a thing. And that thing is definitely going to change in India now because of this COVID thing. I think Ranjit would definitely agree to this one if I tell him this. Yeah. So, and of course, the thing which is happening is, in the companies, of course, now they're loving it, because it is actually cutting a lot on the overhead costs of the company, maintaining the offices and all these things. So they are getting into the co-working spaces and online and all that. But of course, which I put a point that if the companies really need to get into the gig worker sort of a thing, the gig economy, they really need to add a lot of value to their employees when it comes to AI and bots and all that. So they really need to give them all the facilities, whatever facilities are available, best facilities are available. They need to give them to their employees if they want best out of this gig economy. And I'll just quote few numbers, like before the pandemic, Ashokam has estimated a growth of around $455 billion by 2024. That was before the pandemic, they had quoted this. And I think in future is going to definitely double up. So that is what is going to happen when it comes to gig economy, and all of us are really working. And of course, we are doing this, and we've been, how we did it in 2020. We did so many webinars, and how we are totally connected. And like you are also, as you said, you are a new mom, so you kind of must be enjoying it also, as a matter of fact. So that's what gig economy is going to really definitely help all of us, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rajika, it's all, you're curious. When you are curious, you try to switch from one job to another. And at the same time, the organization is curious to adapt to you. So it's all from both the sides. I'll come back to Ranjit, the last question. How can talent acquisition adapt and focus on a 360-degree view? Keeping in mind all the benefits of pay, personal growth. So
I think communication of total rewards. Okay, I think it's something, if I can just put across all the pays and tangibles and non-tangible. I think from a talent acquisition perspective, I would say there are 4 touch points that they have with employees. Okay, like for example, when you are subtly marketing, okay, which is, I typically call it the pre-application phase. Okay, you are subtly marketing your organization that, okay, we are doing this, we are doing social cause, you can volunteer. You're not asking for any particular job application, but you are saying, what, this is how our people have grown, this is how our DNI has grown, this is how our ladies have become top ladies in 40 under 40 or something like that. That's something subtly you're actually sending messages about the rewards that you will get here. Now, for example, equality or inclusion is a reward that you'll get, right? But you're not directly saying it. It's more about creating an awareness for people, in fact, and it's a kind of a mass thing that you'll send across, so that people slowly start understanding that there is something called as a WIFM. Okay, what's in it for me? And people slowly start following, and that's how you increase your follower base. I think that's how you say, okay, these are the kind of people I want me to follow. It's like playing a Pied Piper, okay, and making sure that people start looking at it. And then you start actually going for an application phase. Okay, you are saying that, okay, this is a particular role. So your communication of your rewards, okay, or selective rewards out of that has to be enough to generate aspiration for the person to say, okay, I want to aspire for this particular role in this particular company. Okay, and that's something. Is it good enough? Now, I can't say how they should do it. Each company needs to really arrive at what is required for a particular target group, or if there are techies, if there are innovators, if there are marketers, what will really aspire them to move from sled back to applying for the job. And then I would say that the TA team has to train the interviewers into really making sure that they communicate the rewards in a manner so that aspiration goes towards longingness, that I would want to be, that's moving from aspiration is at the thought level, but longing is being there, So can I create that? I know a lot of people who joined an organization or rejected an organization because of their experience with that interview, right? So can I create that? And that's another way of communicating, and that's another touch point that we have. And lastly, I would say that when a person comes in, okay, and when he feels that he's belong to it, right, can I encourage my people to really go back to something like a Glassdoor and post how the experience has been? See, even when any of us go to Amazon or eBay or Flipkart, we might trust what the seller is saying, but we would rather go back to check the reviews out there or the ratings out there, how they rate that experience of the seller or the product. So why these days, when we talk about gig economies and educated employees now, they would rather go back and check Glassdoor as how's the employee experience been, what they've been marketed as something that the rewards and what they actually get. So can I, as an acquisition team, can I beef up my Glassdoor rating? Can I make sure that there are better things coming up, which in turn will talk about my rewards to the employees from the horse's mouth? I would say maybe as an acquisition person, we have to think from these 4 touch points and then customize my communication vehicles around that. That would be my take on it.
Yeah, so herein you speak and then you do. So what you do matters more. Action speaks louder than words. So it's like elevator's pitch coming from the interviewer's point of view, not from the yeah. So thank you all. Thank you, Ratna, Ranjit, and Rajika. And it has been a great session for me. For me, again, it is very enlightening and a lot of great insights coming from you all. Thank you, Faisal, for having me here. Thank you, HRAI. Faisal, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we move to the Q&A round, we will be running a poll to have the participants' valuable feedback on this session. During this time, we request all the participants to feel free and put their questions in the chat box. We'll wait for a few minutes if in case there are any questions coming in. No questions, I believe. So thank you, Ms. Nitika, for taking us through this session
Thank you,
and
Faisal.
making it such interactive and exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ratna, Mr. Ranjit, and Ms. Rajika for sharing your valuable thoughts and insights with us. It has been a privilege having you all for this engrossing session. To all those who wish to learn and grow, you can access the recording of this today's session on our YouTube link shared in the chat window. Before we conclude for today's session, we would also want to thank all the associations: Geisha, NASCOM COE, Kleptalk, Talgro, TLE, WICCI, LinkedIn Local Ahmedabad and India for supporting HRAI events. To know more about these events and associations, request you to kindly visit the links provided in the chat window. This is it from today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ms.
Thank
Bye.
Nitika.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you,
Have
Ms.
a good
Rajika.
day. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Ms. Ratna.